So I'd like to call to order this regular council meeting of the town of Saugeen Shores. And again, the first order of business is a declaration of pecuniary interest. I'll remind you of your responsibility. Undeclared, we have no additions, deletions, or amendments to the agenda. So the next item is adoption of minutes. And I have a motion that's moved by Councillor Rich and seconded by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau that council adopt the minutes of the council meeting of April the 23rd, 2018 as presented. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? That's carried. Next is the Committee of the Whole minutes of April 23rd, 2018. It's been moved by Councillor Grace, seconded by Councillor Dave Mayette, that Council note and file the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting of April 23rd, 2018 as presented. Any errors, omissions, comments? All in favor? No, it's okay. All in favor? Carried. And the last set of minutes is for the YMCA facility tour minutes for April the 24th, and it's been moved by Councillor Grace, seconded by Councillor Manage, that Council note and file the YMCA facility tour minutes dated April the 24th, 2018 as presented. Any questions or comments to that, errors? Grace?
Thank you, yes, so noted. We'll change that.
Any further comments? All in favor? That's carried. The next item on the agenda then is a general government report from April the 23rd, 2018, and it's been moved by Councillor Dave Mayette, seconded by Councillor Grace, that Council adopts the general government report dated April the 23rd, 2018, recommending that the design of the proposed police services headquarters as presented in the CAO staff report dated April the 23rd, 2018 be approved as close to final design. Questions, comments? All in favor? That's carried. Next item is the Committee of the Whole report of April the 23rd, and it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau, seconded by Councillor Rich, that Council adopts the Committee of the Whole report dated April the 23rd, 2018, recommending support for the correspondence from Ernie Hardeman, MPP, regarding Bill 16, Respecting Municipal Authority Over Landfill Sites Act, that requests municipalities be granted the authority to approve landfill projects in or adjacent to their communities. Excuse me. Any questions or comments to this? All in favor? That's carried. The next item is accompanied by a staff report, and if there's any questions, I'm sure we can get them answered. But I'll read the motion. It's been moved by Councillor Rich, seconded by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau, that Tierra Geomatic Services Incorporated be awarded the contract for the 2018 closed circuit television sewer inspection services, tender number 2018-6410-5420 in the amount of $54,350 plus applicable HST, and that the Mayor and Clerk be authorized to sign the necessary tender documents. Questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. The next item is a staff report. Again, it's an award of a tender for the reconstruction of Orchard Drive, and it's been moved by Councillor Minaj, seconded by Councillor Dave Mayette, that Doug Welsh Construction Limited be awarded the contract for the reconstruction of Orchard Drive, tender number 2018-6320-5820, in the amount of $325,283.26 plus applicable HST, and that the Mayor and Clerk be authorized to sign the necessary tender documents. Any questions on this? Councillor Minaj.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I could, to the Director of Infrastructure and Development Services. Amanda, maybe you should have. I should have asked this 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and maybe it's intuitively obvious. Numerous breaks, root balls, and intrusions have been noted within the sanitary main line. Orchard Drive, I guess if you push a road through the middle of an orchard back in the late 1960s, early 1970s, you might expect some of this. But I'd like to understand a little bit more about what numerous breaks mean. So I'll ask that. And root balls and intrusions. So I think I understand it, but I'd like to hear it in your words. And furthermore, what I'd really like to know is we're encouraging the community to plant more trees all the time and everywhere. And I've got trees that are very close to the property line. Should we be having a policy that says that you shall not plant a tree within so many feet of the property line, because it's putting our future storm sewer works at risk? Or is it because the manufacturing mechanisms in the 60s were such that these sewers break and they won't do so today? So there's a lot of questions in there. Maybe you could work your way through it, please.
Sure. So through you, Mr. Mayor, numerous breaks, root balls, and intrusions is what it means. So the pipes are a clay material, and once you get a little crack in it, tree roots will find the water. They're smart beings that way, and so as you start getting roots going into a sewer, you end up getting more and more breaks. So these are the sanitary sewers. This was discovered through the CCTV program that was done before. In this older area with larger trees with roots that are thirsty, this will continue to happen. The idea with PVC is it's gasketed joints, so you won't have the water leaking. So if it's in and there's no infiltration happening, you'll see less of this happening in the future. But I'm not going to say we should have a policy that would say no trees anywhere, because every house has a sanitary lateral to the center of the property line, so that would be difficult to do.
Thank you, Amanda. Further questions? Then all in favor? Carried. So the next item is the staff report, and it has to do with the Community Services 2008 fleet purchases. And the motion is moved by Councillor Dave Mayette, second by Councillor Grace. The Council authorized the purchase of a 2018 Chevrolet City Express cargo van at a cost of $22,900 plus applicable HST, and a 2018 Kubota L3560 at a cost of $39,463 plus applicable HST, and 2 golf carts at a combined cost of $10,390 plus applicable taxes. Any questions or comments to this motion or report? Deputy Mayor Charbonneau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wondered, perhaps a question to the CAO, perhaps acting CAO. I wonder, do we know when Council approved the budget for fleet this year? We approved a lump sum amount, didn't look at the specifics, which was fine, but that left us not with exact projections in terms of what these purchases might cost. So could you just give us an indication as whether this was within the administration's expectations in terms of cost for these 3 purchases?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. This year budget, Council approved $690,000 to be transferred to Fleet Reserve, and we fund our fleet purchases from that reserve. These purchases are the last of the necessary fleet purchases for this year, and they fall within that $690,000. So effectively, we aren't impacting the deficit that the Fleet Reserve is in, and staff hopes to have a better strategy prepared for Council moving ahead next year.
Further questions? All in favor then? Opposed? That's carried. So the next item on the agenda are bylaws, and we have 5 tonight. And the first one is a bylaw to name the bridge over the Saugeen River, and it's been moved by Councillor Grace, second by Councillor Dave Mayette, that bylaw 40-2018, being a bylaw to name the bridge over the Saugeen River, is hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 14th day of May, 2018. Questions, comments, the motion or bylaw? All in favor? That's carried. Next item is a bylaw to amend the procedural bylaw, electronic participation at meetings, and it's been moved by Councillor Grace and seconded by Councillor Dave Mayette that bylaw 41-2018, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 63-2015, being the bylaw to govern the calling, place, and proceedings of meetings of the Corporation of the Town of Saugeen Shores, is hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 14th day of May 2018. Any questions or comments to this motion or bylaw? None, then all in favor? That's carried. Next item is authorize a lease agreement with the Southampton Arts Centre. It's been moved by Councillor Minaj, seconded by Vice Deputy Mayor Huber, that bylaw 42-2018, being a bylaw to authorize a lease agreement with the Southampton Arts Centre, is hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 14th day of May 2018. Questions or comments to the motion or bylaw? All in favor then? That's carried. And the next item is authorize a lease agreement with the Saugeen Shores Winterhawks. Excuse me. And it's been moved by Councillor Mike Myatt and seconded by Councillor Rich that bylaw 43-2018 being a bylaw to authorize the entering into of an agreement with Saugeen Shores Winterhawks Hockey Association is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 14th day of May 2018. Any questions or comments to this motion or bylaw? All in favor? That's carried. And the last bylaw is the Bruce Power Emergency Funding Agreement. And it's been moved by Vice Deputy Mayor Huber, seconded by Councillor Minaj, that bylaw 44-2018, being a bylaw to authorize an agreement with Bruce Power, is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 14th day of May 2018. Any questions, Councillor Mike Myatt?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I just wanted to ask the question of you or the clerk, and it can be understood that a letter of thank you is a given, that this would come out through our clerk's office. Mr. Mayor, do I need a motion on the floor to send a letter of thanks to Bruce Power? Because I think, this is good news again for our community, and how would you... Well, it's just a good news story, and I just think it's nice to send a letter of thanks. And I did have a couple of questions, if I might, and to our acting CIO, Phil. I'm just wondering the $60,000 per year for 3 years. Over the last 3 years, I see the unspent dollars does get placed into reserve, and I'm just wondering in the last 3 years if you had. Sorry to put you on the spot. I should have asked this question earlier today, but the amount of dollars that has been not used in the last 3 years out of the $60,000. Do you know off the top of your head what that dollar amount may be? Have we spent all 60 grand each year?
No, Mike, I can say that we don't spend the full 60,000. The $60,000 each year funds our emergency preparedness program, both nuclear and community-wide, and the surpluses. There's always a small surplus. Okay. I'm not sure exactly, but I think our reserves around the $200,000 mark, not fully funded by this agreement, but that's where the funds go.
And so could you just explain again what like the $60,000 per year? What exactly how do we spend that money?
So we do have a budget for that $60,000, and it's the emergency preparedness budget. And while it's a small budget, I think there's about 15 lines there. There's some staff time, some facility maintenance. We look after some standby emergency generators, like for this facility, and some building upgrades, like in the EOCs.
So it's a good news story.
Any further questions? All in favor? Carried. So, the next item then is the confirmatory bylaw. It's been moved by Councillor Mike Myatt and seconded by Councillor John Rich that bylaw 45-2018, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores, is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 14th day of May 2018. All in favor? That's carried. And it's been moved by Councillor Rich and seconded by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau that this regular council meeting of May 14th, 2018 hereby adjourned at 8:15. All in favor? We're adjourned.